San Diego 6 News in the Morning. Your station for balanced news.
All right, there are more and more options for hopeful parents-to-be. This is really an incredible story that I'd like you to see. Linda worked very hard on this. Coming up, a very special report on how a couple can have a child that's not genetically theirs.
The cry of a newborn baby is one of the greatest joys for parents, and for some it is easy to have babies. For others, it is an agonizing wait and a very emotional ride. There are several expensive options, but now there's a way to actually get pregnant and have a baby that is not genetically yours. I have the story of one of the first San Diegans to have a baby from another couple's embryo. That sound rings sweet in a mother's ears, the newborn cry.
Okay, so this is the last night before baby Nicholas is coming out.
Pamela Schiavone waited so long for that moment.
It's a huge roller coaster, 6 years of ups and downs and blood work and shots and medicines, and it's a lot of work.
Her husband had a reverse vasectomy, but it didn't take. And finally, there was the realization she couldn't have her own child.
I was just too old. Tried to produce my own eggs, tried to use egg donors, tried to use sperm donor with different eggs. We shared a batch of eggs with another couple at his office, and we did just about everything.
Then she met Dr. Samuel Wood at the Reproductive Sciences Center in La Jolla, and he and his colleagues suggested the idea of an embryo donation.
They're taking embryos that are excess, that have been created by another couple, and that are now frozen. They're thawed out and placed into the woman, so that they do not have a genetic link.
Pamela was the first one to go through it at that office, and possibly all of San Diego.
To my knowledge, Pamela was the first one, and so it was a new experience for us too, and we learned a lot from the process, the best way to do it.
Pamela got pregnant on the first try. They used 3 embryos and 1 took. She saw the heartbeat just 2 weeks after the transfer.
It was so much fun, and I remember the first time I felt him, it felt like a little butterfly fluttering in my tummy. Enjoyed every moment of the pregnancy. Every moment.
That was nearly 5 years ago.
They put him on my belly, and I saw him for the first time, and I just couldn't believe how perfect he was and beautiful. And I remember my stepmother calling and when I was in the hospital, and she said, "Now I want you to look at him and say, 'This is your son.'" That was awesome.
Many of the couples that do this have been through a lot. They've tried absolutely everything to become pregnant, and it didn't work. And frequently there are financial considerations. And embryo donation is a much less expensive option than the other ones out there.
You want to cut an apple with me? I just wanted to have a child, and I didn't really mind if it wasn't my genes. In fact, I think it's better.
Now Pamela and Nicholas don't look back. They look forward to fun. And one day, Pamela says she'll explain in more detail how Nicholas came to be.
You have to go that way on the door.
And to think, it all started here in this lab.
So how many potential babies are in there?
120 babies in this.
And led to this.
I love you, birthday boy.
The creation of a family, a bond that can never be broken.
I feel so blessed every day that he's in my world and we have him, and how lucky we are.
Well, there are different ways to do embryo donation. In some cases, the doctor finds good quality excess embryos and match them with a couple. In other cases, there can be interviews between the people who have created the embryos, and they get to decide which couple gets to have one. More like a real adoption. But no money, keep in mind, is exchanged because it's against the law to sell embryos.
Now, you and I were talking about this off camera here, and it's such a wonderful story. But I wonder, how do people find out more about it? Because you were telling me there's not really like a clearinghouse or a website where you go to study this.
No, it really isn't. I mean, there's so many different things you find when you look up the subject on Google, but really it's word of mouth among fertility experts. But Dr. Wood says that with more awareness out there, it could be a very real possibility to have a national database someday.
So that may be coming someday, but in the meantime, you talk to your doctor about this and tell him that you saw this story.
About the option, yeah.
Right, interesting. All right, well, that's wonderful. All right, 7:36. Let's get over to Renee and talk about our weather and our traffic here. When I first saw that story this morning, I got a little choked up. It's just, you realize how much some people are willing to go through because they want so much to have a family.
It's so true. And Linda was you know, doing the story, and it's so moving to, you know, really think about that. families can happen when you didn't have hope for them before. And Linda, you were saying it's called a snowflake baby.
Yeah, in some cases that's kind of more of a slang term in different ways. Yeah, but they call it more of an embryo donation.
Okay,